Welcome to the Nation Diplomatic Dispatch, your window into the world of diplomacy and international affairs. Today we explore Malaysia-Iran relations following Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan's recent visit to Iran for the 8th Joint Commission meeting, which aimed to strengthen diplomatic, economic and strategic cooperation between the two countries. With bilateral trade seeing significant growth in recent years, what's next for this partnership? Joining us today to discuss this is His Excellency VALIOLLAH Mohammadi Nasrabadi, Ambassador of Iran to Malaysia. Thank you for joining us today. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Now, the relationship between Iran and Malaysia has gone back many years. And before the program, we were talking about the fact that this relationship started in 1968. It's about 50 plus years now. Looking ahead and where we've been, how do you consider the current state of our bilateral relationship between the countries?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First, I would like to congratulate all my Muslim brothers and sisters in Malaysia for arriving the holy month of Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah.
Ramadan Kareem, Salamat Perwasa. In fact, the relation between Iran and Malaysia goes back to a few centuries ago, when the Iranian people moved from our region to this region by sea and ship or by road through India. They came to this region in now is Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand, and they were stay here. They set up the Iranian community there, and from that time till now, of course, we have the very good relation. For this reason, if you look, there are a lot of Persian words. They are in Malayo, and shows that we have the historic relation, not only 50 or 60 years relation. We have more than 300 years of relation and friendly relation. Of course, the diplomatic relation started in 1968, as you mentioned, and from that time we have the official and diplomatic relation. Our embassy opened here in 1981, and from that time till now, both sides try to have the best friend, and Alhamdulillah, always we have the cordial relation and cooperation between two countries is very good and of course satisfied.
Alhamdulillah. You have to teach me some of these Persian words that we now have in Malay, because there's quite a few, and Malay is actually a language that is mixed with so many different other words. We've got Hindi and Sanskrit and Tamil, so definitely Persian and Arabic words make a big part of the Malaysian vocabulary. Your Excellency, you've expressed in the past your confidence in this relationship that the two countries are having, but clearly there has to be a recipe on what makes a good relationship. So for the Iran and Malaysia cooperation and relationship, what is some of the key factors that have helped us to become the friends that we are today?
Of course, at the first, history, that we have for a long time history relation, and the second, of course, the common culture and also the religions of Islam, that we have. This is very important factor, that the two sides come together and work together, and also the potential that we have in both countries. Of course, huge potential in scientific cooperation, for scientific cooperation, for education, for tourism, for economic cooperation. This also, there are some factors that we be close and work together. And I would like to mention that we, both sides and both country, we want we have the active relation cooperation in all fields that we have, and we can offer to each other. Many potential Malaysia has that we can have cooperate with them. At the same time, we have a lot of opportunity and potential that Malaysia we can provide to Malaysian side. And this factor, of course, support by the historic, support by culture, support by the religion, and support by the will of people.
I think that's wonderful, because you're talking about historical means of how we came together, which was really trade and religion, and then how that became something that was more modern with, you know, we were talking about new energy transition earlier, so it's about sustainability, science, technology. There's also been exchange between our scientists on ways in which we can do things better. So while you were talking, sir, I actually very quickly checked words that are Farsi or Persian that we've adopted, and I did not realize that the word dari or from was something that we adopted from Persian. So thank you for that. We know the word bazaar is also Persian. For example, now we've got a lot of Ramadan bazaar. So definitely those are some of the very interesting words. Sutra or khilafah, these are definitely words that we use a lot.
We have a lot of words. For example, pahlawan, bandar, nakhuda, shah, gandum.
Okay, I'm going to write down all these words after
a
this.
lot of
wheat is also Persian.
Gandum, korma, kishmish, all they are from Persian words.
Wonderful.
There we
go.
Of
so
course,
new
more
words
than
to
300 Persian words there in language.
Is there a collaboration with the the Embassy of Iran and our Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka, in fact, to kind of look at all the different words that are coming?
Of course, I don't know exactly in the past what they did, but now, no, we have no any, but I hope, inshallah, we can start to work in these fields also.
Wonderful. Now, Your Excellency, in 2024, Iran became Malaysia's 7th largest trading partner in the West Asian region, and the total value of trade was actually 2.6 billion, and this was an increase of about 24.6% from the year before. Now, in the meantime, we know that bilateral trade between the two countries has seen fluctuations for many reasons, you know, geopolitical conditions, external factors, etc. But how do you see the two countries moving forward and, you know, building the ties better in the future?
Of course, at first, I would like to mention that the sanction is not in all fields. Of course, there is some area that we can cooperate. This is the first. And the second, business can find its way. You mentioned that about 500 million US dollar is the volume of trade between two countries. Shows that, of course, businessmen, traders, they know how they work together. And of course, they have the good result for their cooperation. This is the first. The second, of course, there are a lot of potential for cooperation. And businessmen, of course, private sectors, they are looking for benefit. And of course, when some places is some area for cooperation in favor of them, they come to work with, of course, to work with each other. This is another, of course, reason that we can go forward for the expansion of economic and trade relation between two countries. And also because, as I mentioned, there are a lot of opportunity, potential. You, for example, export a lot of things like palm oil and rubber and other things, and we import. So we come to import from your country, and at the same time we have a lot of things to export, and you import. We can, of course, export to your country, and economic of two countries complete each other. For this reason, the businessmen, they try to do their business with, for more benefit. And of course, one area that we can cooperate, for example, Iran can be hope of the production of Malaysia, because Iran is located in the, of course, Indian Ocean and of course in West Asia, that Malaysia can use Iranian land for export production to the Central Asia, other countries. We have, of course, we can have provide logistic services that you use the international transport courier for export your or import. So export and import from Asia, Central Asia country. This is another area for cooperation.
The geographical position is definitely strategic. Your Excellency, I'm going to tease you a little bit later about what are your thoughts on Malaysia chairing ASEAN this year. But before that, we're going to go for a quick break. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Earlier we were talking about Malaysia and Iran's strategic ties in terms of the economy. And now I want to ask Your Excellency, in view of Malaysia being the chair of ASEAN this year, and we're already almost, quite a few months through now, how do you see the countries within ASEAN being able to collaborate better, and what are some of your thoughts within how ASEAN can become, a voice of reason within the regional frameworks?
At first, I would like to congratulate Malaysia to be for its chairman of ASEAN, and I hope, inshallah, we be successful in chair of this regional bloc. And this is first. And the second, Iran is ready to cooperate with Malaysia in these fields. And also, of course, I am sure, I don't know you are aware or not, Iran signed the ITC of ASEAN in 2018. And from that time, of course, we want to work with ASEAN. And then now we submit application to the ASEAN for sectoral dialogue partnership. And I hope during the chairmanship of ASEAN by Malaysia, we can, of course, have the result for our application. And with support of Malaysia, we have, of course, we become the sectoral partner of ASEAN, inshallah.
Sectoral partner of ASEAN, inshallah.
Yeah.
Now, when you were talking about we have been collaborating for a while now, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the ways we can expand on this collaboration? I know that we do a lot in terms of religion and culture, and of course, economic trade, export, import. And recently we were also talking about sustainability in energy sector. But what are your thoughts on some of the other ways of, expanding this collaboration?
Of course, as I told you, this is a good potential for cooperation. Iran, of course, energy sector of Iran is very important. We have, of course, oil and gas, and also we are going to have the new kind of energy, renewable energy. And we try to have this kind of energy. And for this is a very good platform for cooperation between two countries, because Malaysia also looking for that. And at first, we can exchange of knowledge and cooperation. And the second, for investment in these fields, and that we can use the people of two countries for the renewable energy, inshallah.
Renewable energy is definitely something that both countries are looking at. Earlier during the break, we spoke about Malaysia and Iran's commitment towards COP27, and how Iran is also looking at a 10,000 megawatt investment in clean energy. So I think it's definitely something that a lot of countries are going into, and it's interesting to see how Iran and Malaysia will collaborate in this. Now, Your Excellency, I think it's high time that we talk about the issues that are plaguing this side of the planet when we're talking about geopolitical affairs. We know that the Foreign Minister, Dato' Sri Muhammad Hassan, said that Malaysia and Iran both share a firm commitment when it comes to humanitarian efforts, and we've seen this over the years, especially to date addressing the Israeli violence against not only Palestine but also Lebanon and Syria. Now, the matter has been discussed between a courtesy call between the Iranian President Dr. Masoud as well as ours. But how do you see this partnership evolving in terms of concrete humanitarian efforts, especially this Ramadan when the world really needs it?
Of course, as you are aware, we have the common position about Palestine. Both countries support Palestinian people and, of course, condemn the Israeli crime against the Palestinian people. I would like to mention here that after Islamic Revolution, of course, before Islamic Revolution, we had a very good cordial relation with Israel. The previous regime has. But after Islamic Revolution, we cut the relation with Israel, and of course, start our relation and cooperation with Palestinian groups and Palestinian people. And now, about 45 years, we are supporting the Palestinian people. And Malaysia also the same, always support Palestinian people, but their right to have the Palestinian state, and condemn the Israeli activities. And this is a very good common idea about support Palestinian. And I would like to thank Malaysia for its position in these fields, especially the support of the ICJ against Israel. And as you mentioned, we are coming to work for people of Palestine. Of course, after the ceasefire, the Palestinian people, they need humanitarian aid. And both countries, Iran and Malaysia, as a main supporter of Palestine, they want to do in this, of course, section. And this is the area that we can cooperate with Malaysian side. And of course, not only for humanitarian aid, for reconstruction of the Gaza and Palestinian, of course, houses and territory. This is that we want to work together. And I would like to mention here, after Islamic Revolution, the late Imam Khomeini, of course, the leader of the Islamic Revolution and founder of the Islamic Republic of Iran, he proposed, His Excellency proposed, that one day in Ramadan, the last Friday of Ramadan, as an international Quds Day. Okay. And of course, invite all people around the world to come together in this day, and of course, support Palestinians, show their solidarity but, to Palestinian people, and do against Israel, of course. And I think this is very good, of course, after the ceasefire. Now we are in Ramadan, and the last Friday we can ask the people around the world, especially Muslim people, commemorate this day and show their solidarity to people of Palestine, and of course going to give the humanitarian aid to the people of Palestine. I think it's very good time for this activity. But of course, Iran and Malaysia, we both want to support Palestinians, and inshallah we can do that. And we know that Malaysian side, they did a lot during the war, Gaza war, and after the war. And we thank Malaysian government and Malaysian people. And also we do the same, inshallah.
Definitely, and Ramadan is such a good month not only to reflect on the humanity that we want to represent, and I think Ramadan is an amazing month not only for the Muslims but also the non-Muslims. We see an outpouring of humanitarian aid usually during this month for causes that are in great need, and I think the Palestinian cause is something that has received support from Muslims and non-Muslims across Malaysia. We definitely want to see more of this. Your Excellency, during the 8th Joint Commission meeting, or the JCM, between Iran and Malaysia recently, the two countries have, of course, affirmed the commitment to supporting the Palestinian cause. Now, when we're talking about this, what are some of the ways that maybe both countries can collaborate with the OIC, or the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, to advocate for the Palestinian rights? Or in fact, I'd add that as well as the perhaps Islamic Development Bank to look at reconstruction and rehabilitation of Gaza and some of the other places.
Yeah. Of course, the Iran and Malaysia always, in the international organization, we support Palestinian in all fields that the Palestinian people, they need support for any resolution, any activity. Iran and Malaysia support them. And of course, in United Nations, we support Palestinian people. Of course, Palestinian, they have a state as a Palestinian state. And for OIC also, we always consultant and also work together to support the idea for cooperation of the support of the Palestinian people. This is the best place, OIC, for supporting the Palestinian. Of course, as you mentioned, the Islamic Development Bank can, of course, provide some help, some, of course, humanitarian and also some material for reconstruction of the country, of the Palestinian territory, inshallah. And we are together. Always we, of course, contact the leaders of the country. They have the telephone conversation, or sometime in the sideline of the international or regional or summit or foreign ministry meetings. They have a meeting and discuss about how we can support Palestinian people to get rid of this suffering time.
You mentioned something very important, sir. I think one of the things Your Excellency was talking about was not only informal meetings like the OIC, but a lot of these meetings also happen in the sidelines, you said. And sometimes we do see world leaders having side discussions after the main event to actually really deep dive on some of the discussions that are needed. So when we're talking about Malaysia and Iran's deep cultural and historical ties, and you actually teased the fact that something is coming next month, I'm really excited to see where that goes. How can both nations strengthen people-to-people exchange? It could be music, it could be culture, but in terms of space in tourism and education, how are some of the ways that we can collaborate?
Yeah, there are a lot of course, sector and area that we want to work together. And but culture activity, there is many area. For example, about film. We had, of course, last week we had the Iranian Film Festival in 3 cities, Kuala Lumpur, Johor, and Penang. And of course, the music also, the another kind of activity, cultural activity, that we brought a team from Tehran 3 weeks ago, and they had a program in some places. And we are going to have the joint working and join the music, inshallah, in future between Iran and Malaysia. But of course, Quranic competition, we send the team to here, and also Malaysia participate in the Quranic competition. Tourism, as you mentioned, of course, is, before what is it, the COVID-19, there was, of course, there was direct flight between Iran and Kuala Lumpur, and huge number of Iranian people, they visited Malaysia. So Malaysia is very famous and familiar to Iranian people. A lot of people, they are coming here, and of course, now we have no, unfortunately, direct flight. I'm sure if we have the direct flight, more Iranian come here.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, we can do a lot in these fields. And this is some example only. There are a lot of areas we can cooperate, and science, technology, parliamentary cooperation, the people-to-people contract.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and I really do look forward to that music festival or that music collaboration that you were talking about that's happening in the next few months. Thank you for joining us today. Now, since the establishment of bilateral relationships in 1968, Malaysia and Iran have enjoyed continued strong bonds of friendship, and as evident as their close cooperation in the multitude of areas. Today's discussion has shed light on the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead, highlighting the importance of continued dialogue and cooperation. I'm Nadia Blatev, and thank you for watching The Diplomatic Dispatch, and we'll see you next time when diplomacy meets dialogue. Take care.